Hi everyone, I'm Ktristen, and I'm going to be talking about adopting from pet stores. We all see Paris Hilton with her little dogs using them as accessories, or Beverly Hills Chihuahua, Marley and me, you get the point. We see these cute little animals on TV and we want one for ourselves. But where do people usually go to buy one? The pet store. You want to find a dog that's exactly like the one you saw in the movie. Once you see this cute little bundle of joy, you want one and you just love them. However, did you ever wonder where these puppies come from? We usually overlook this just wanting the dog, but as young as this puppy may be, it's already suffered and went through a lot in its short little life. My main claim is that adopting from pet stores promotes animal suffering. My first point is 90% of pet stores obtain their animals from puppy mills. According to Doug Handbicke of the Humane Society of the United States, yes, 90% of them get animals from mills. Whether it's a puppy mill, kitten mill, rabbit mill, it's still a mill. When asked stores where they get their animals from, they say breeders. But what are breeders? This usually means it comes from a commercial breeder, which is breeders who are licensed to sell wholesale dogs, or another term for a puppy mill. Now, I'm not sure if everyone knows what a puppy mill is, but it's basically, as described by the Humane Society, it's a facility where animals are bred for quantity, not quality, live in deplorable conditions, and are doomed to suffer health and behavior problems because of their delinquent upbringing. Females are forced to breed in every heat cycle until they can't reproduce anymore. Most dogs in puppy mills live their whole life in a cage, forced to live in overcrowded cages and eat and sleep in their own fecal matter. This can cause animals to get very sick. They are rarely treated by veterinarians to keep the costs down. These mills are just trying to maximize profit by producing heavily while trying to reach the minimum cost. Many animals die in the process, but those that are left are usually sick. These sickly animals are bought by unsuspecting buyers, us. A known puppy mill called Puppy Haven only has 14 employees, some full-time while others are part-time. They keep an average of 1,200 dogs and 400 puppies. This means that the 14 employees have to care for 1,600 animals, and if every single employee was working a full day, each would be in charge of 114 dogs. That would be about 3 minutes per day for dogs. This isn't including if they have to do office work, answer the phone, lunch break, etc. Meaning the dogs get less than 3 minutes a day of care. I don't know this about you, but I don't think that's sufficient enough. Imagine the filth they have to live in. One of my friends bought a Maltese from a nearby pet shop called Just Paws. It was a cute little puppy, but little did she know, the first day she brought it home, the puppy started coughing and vomiting. So she took it to the veterinarian. It turned out it had a parvovirus. I don't know if you know what parvo is, but according to the veterinarian Michael Richards, it's a disease that has an 80% mortality rate in puppies. It can be prevented with vaccinations, but most puppies in puppy mills aren't vaccinated there. However, it was safe for my friend's Maltese and it died within a few days. She went back to the pet store and complained that they sold her a sick dog, but they were really apologetic, so they didn't know. They would never sell a sick dog to anyone, so they gave her another dog. That dog was infected also with the disease, and it died within a few weeks. So she told all of us, don't go to the pet store and buy there. This is just one case. Terry Woodcock for the Retired Breeders Rescue gets called to pick up defected dogs. She says breeders call her to pick up usually 8 to 12 dogs that they classify as defective or unviable by pet stores. For example, Bentley, a Shih Tzu, was recovered by Terry, and it looks like a healthy puppy, but its back 2 legs are paralyzed. Also, the rescue paid $2,300 in bills for a Labrador that needed surgery to fix her uterus. These are just a few examples. This leads to my second and last point. Pet stores increase the overpopulation of animals. Like I said before, many of these puppies are sickly. A sickly puppy means a very large bill from the vet. And many people don't want to pay for these fees when they add up, and they just give the dogs away to shelters. Not only are these puppies sickly, but they're more prone to, due to inbreeding and poor living conditions, they're prone to health, social, or genetic problems later in life. They're harder to potty train since they're used to going wherever they went. Since they're taken away from their mothers at 8 weeks of age, they don't know how to socialize with other animals or people. So people just give them away since they can't deal with it. According to the statistics of the Humane Society of the United States website, about 6 to 8 million dogs and cats go to shelters each year. Only 30% of those animals are adopted out, and 3 to 4 million are euthanized each year. 3 to 4 million are killed every year, while more and more puppies are being born and sold to pet stores. The mill I mentioned earlier, Puppy Haven, has on their records they sell a total of 3,000 puppies a year. Maybe people just want a purebred dog, but there's 25% of purebred dogs in shelters. I usually volunteer at animal shelters, and I can say after Beverly Hills Chihuahua came out, there was a definite increase of Chihuahuas at the shelters. And same thing for when 101 Dalmatians came out, there was an increase of Dalmatians in the pound. So the next time you're considering adopting an animal, you should rethink about it, where you want to get the animal. If there's a certain dog you want, like Marley or that cute little Chihuahua, there's always a rescue, or you can always go to the pound. So don't support animal cruelty. No, I showed you that puppy was still there.
But other puppies come that way too. At least half of them.
Yes. Hey, you know what? Leave alone. Leave alone. I said that because you didn't sit.
It sounds like a street joke.
Because you didn't sit. That's the only reason why I said that.
It sounds like a street joke. The absurd.
Can you just like go and land on that bunny's call? Because that'd be sweet. That's me, brother.
Not more what?
The lollipops.
Lollipops.
All puppies technically are.
All right, Ktristen, it's a very effective speech. I'm not sure how effective an argument is because I'm not sure there's a lot of dispute on a couple of these points. There's not much controversy that puppy mills are widespread and that a substantial amount of animals that are available that have problems come from the puppy mills. I don't know that anybody will be arguing about that. The key argument in your point comes from a source that you quote, I think it was from the American Humane Association, said 90% of the dogs sold in pet stores come from the puppy mills. So that's the key piece of information that you need to back up a little bit more. Now, how many of these breeders would fall in the classification of a puppy mill? And by the way, clearly the two examples that you cite fit into the category of a puppy mill, but does anybody who's a breeder suddenly become a puppy mill? How do you define or distinguish one group from another? I think that that's something that would have to be elaborated on for us to find some grounds for argument. I thought you did a very nice job citing information. You've got good statistical information, nice examples to bring in the points. The frequency of parvo, there was an 80% statistic. That didn't really get a source citation on it, and I think you do want to have that. But everything else I thought was cited pretty well. You've got a good audience contact. The main issue is how much does this contribute? In other words, is it the pet stores that are creating this problem? That's where your argument is. Or is it something else? You mentioned other motivating factors at the very beginning. For instance, the movies, and you mentioned everybody, they say Beverly Hills Chihuahua or the 101 Dalmatians and that kind of thing. So maybe the bigger source of the problem, and maybe there's more controversy on this, is whether or not those kinds of things are promoting the puppy mills, as opposed to, this is just one step in the process of how the puppy mills work. It's like saying, the pet store is the foot of the body. Well, okay, it is, and it supports the body, but what's the argument on that? Stop stepping on that foot. That may not be a particularly practical one. But if there was something else that would reduce that problem, I think there'd be a little bit more controversy there. All right, thank you.